Hello everybody again, and welcome back to Chris Bosch Props. We are on to another Hasbro video. And guys, if you haven't already seen my last video when it comes to my Alice frame spacer that I modeled, please check it out. But today I have a new spacer, an even cooler spacer. And some of you have to admit the only reason that you bought this pack is because you love the original 1984 movie. And this pack is the closest thing in resemblance that we can get on the market that is affordable and it looks like a screen accurate pack. Even though it is far from it in a lot of the features and details, that is the reason we got it, because we love the original 1984 movie. So today, without further ado, I want to unveil my new Ghostbusters 1 GB1 Half Moon Spacer. If you don't already know, in the original 1984 movie, the spacer in between the Alice frame at the top is a half moon shaped style spacer. Now, not that there's anything wrong with my original spacer. If you guys want to still buy one of those, I'll link it. But this spacer is for those who absolutely are in love with the original 1984 movie. And some of you are going to be converting this pack into a 1984 pack. And this spacer is exactly what you will need. And I'm going to show you how to put it on and how it looks. So let's get into it. So for some of you who haven't watched and aren't familiar with my spacer video, our original problem with the Hasbro design is that we do not have enough of a space in between the Alice frame and the Hasbro plastic motherboard. There's no space there, okay? On the original movie packs, there was probably a ½ inch space from this bar to the pack. Maybe a little bit more. It probably varies from pack to pack because these Alice frames get pretty bent. But nonetheless, we do have a gap, and even in the Afterlife movie, there is a slight gap. But although in the Afterlife movie, it is a less gap than what I noticed in the original movie. But anyways, so this is how it comes. You have this bracket here that holds this bar of the Alice frame down, which is the reason why we have no gap. Now, with my design, I designed this to just go right under that bar, and you don't have to drill any holes. And you keep the integrity and the originality of the Hasbro pack. The moment you start drilling into this pack, you devalue it. You devalue the collective value of the pack. Now, if you plan to keep this and never sell it, no problem. But the moment you drill into this, it loses all collectible value. And I don't want to do that. Not that I'm ever going to sell it, but this is what they intended. I'm going to try to keep it as original as possible and not drill new holes into it. So that is why I designed this, so that it just goes right under and we use what was given without ruining our Hasbro pack or devaluing it. So nonetheless, super easy fix. All we're going to do is remove our screws. Now, we cannot reuse the original screws, and that's just because they're not long enough. Remove that. All right, so we remove our bracket there. Here is my new GB1 Half Moon Spacer. We will lift the bar. We will line up the holes. So we should be pretty lined up there. We will grab our bracket, and all we're going to do is place it over. We're going to get our screws. Now, these are M6 screws, and they are 25 millimeters long, which is the equivalent of 1 inch. We're going to put those in there. I like to just hand tighten them. Just a little bit to get it started. Now we have a good, somewhat movie accurate space. Again, guys, this isn't perfect, but it is a fantastic solution to having a more Ghostbuster 1 effect. And we have our half moon spacer there, guys. Now this is the spacer I'm gonna be leaving on my pack. I think it's really cool. And then when you get from the side view, you get that 2D half moon look, if you could see it there. And if you spray paint this bracket black, it's even more awesome. You wouldn't be able to tell at all, and it would just look like a really awesome half moon spacer. I'm probably just gonna leave it as is, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't want to drill into this Alice frame either, guys. These are Chinese replica. These are not US manufactured or US stamped frames. So they do have a tendency, when you drill a hole into here, I've seen them snap. There's a YouTuber named PropWiz. Please check him out. He has a video during Halloween. He had a Rothko LC1 frame that he drilled a hole right there, and under the stress of Halloween with his pack, this bar snapped. So I don't want to drill into these cheap Chinese replica frames. If you have a US manufactured one or a US stamped one, those are fine. You could drill a hole, it ain't gonna snap. But the aluminum on these Chinese replicas, on the Fox or the Rothko, especially the Rothko, they're cheap. So I would not recommend drilling a hole into them. I know some people have and they have no issue, but some people have had issues with this bar right here snapping. So I like this design. I don't plan to drill into it. I don't want to drill a hole into my Hasbro pack either. I want to leave it as original as possible. That is my half moon spacer, guys. I hope you like it. I will link it in my wife's Etsy store if you guys are interested. One step closer to making this pack even more accurate without completely butchering it. Thank you guys for watching.